Hello everybody! Today we're going to unbox, take a close-up look and test the Tefal Access Steamforce DT8270G0 Handheld Garment Steamer. So let's just take a look around the outside of the box. So in this box is a Tefal Access Steamforce DT8270G0 Handheld Garment Steamer, and just taking a look at the details that's on the box packaging. And there are a list of features for this handheld garment steamer. And now let's go ahead and open up the box by pulling out the box tab and opening the flaps, and just popping out the items from the box packaging and sliding the contents out from it, and of course checking through to make sure nothing else is left behind in the box, and just closing the box back up and setting it to the side, just setting it on the right hand side of the tabletop as we continue to unbox or remove the items and separate it from its packaging, and just setting the contents out across the tabletop. And that's just card packaging, just setting that aside, and of course laying the contents across the tabletop so that you have a full and clear view of the items that come with this Tefal Access Steamforce DT8270G0 Handheld Garment Steamer. Alright, so just tidying up the tabletop so that everything is in view. Okay, so let's start off by taking a look at the guarantee. So it does come with a guarantee booklet or warranty booklet, and just flipping it open, and it does spread out across several panels and several languages as well. So we're just going to close it back up and set that to the side, and moving right along to the next item, we do have a quick start guide for the handheld garment steamer. And let's open it up so you have a nice and clear look at the information contained in this quick start guide. Okay, and just setting it down and of course to the side as well, and moving right along, we do have what appears to be a user manual or instruction manual for the handheld garment steamer. Let's open it up, and right there, information contained with it, and there is a table of contents, or at least product description, with the different parts and accessories. And just flipping through, and right now we are in a different section in another language. And of course flipping through, you can see that there are a few different languages. Detailing the use of the garment steamer. And there we go. And now setting that to the side, setting it on the left hand side of the table. And just making as much room as I can while keeping them in view. And of course we have this packet here, which is recyclable. Let's open it up and see what's in here. And of course keeping this recyclable bag away from babies, children and animals, and recycle or reuse it thoughtfully. And now giving you a look at the various attachments or parts. Right there, just sitting them down, and of course giving you that close-up look as well. So you can see that there is a fabric covered attachment here, and giving you a look behind it and the various details. Okay, and just setting that down, and of course moving right along to the next one. So another attachment here, and you can see the fabric or textile that's on it. Okay, and setting that down as well. And moving right along, there is what is a brush attachment, and to give you some sense of the bristles of the brush, right there, and of course the other details as well. Okay, and setting that down, and of course, giving you a look back at this one again, just pressing down on it. So it does have a silky feel to this webbing or fabric or netting right there. And of course, moving on, you can see two covers here, and you can see the composition of the fabric or textile: 87% polyester, 13% polyamide. Okay, and same goes with this one. Seeing that they do look identical, and the care instructions as well. Okay, and setting those down somewhere. And of course, moving right along to the Tefal Access Steam Force DT8270G0 Handheld garment steamer. So just removing another recyclable plastic bag, and of course once again keeping that away from babies, children and animals. So giving you a look right there as it stands. So it does have a standing base, and of course this being a UK model, it does have a British 3-pin plug right there. So taking a close-up look at the plug details, and of course it does have a protective cap over the pins right now, but nonetheless giving you a look at the overall details. Okay, so let's remove the protective cap and just setting that down to the side. Just setting it on the right hand side of the table, and once again giving you a look up close. Okay, and then of course let's remove this recyclable plastic cover or bag over the power cable or cord, which measures 2.6 meters long. And you can see just how thick it is insulated as well. Let's undo the cable tie. And it does have a hook and loop cable tidy or band. Let's open it up and unwind. The cable or cord, so you have a full look right there, as best I can, trying to just keep everything in frame. Okay, so it measures 2.6 meters long. And taking a look once again at the close-up details of the plug as well as the cord. Okay, so now just setting the plug down and taking a close-up look at the handheld garment steamer itself. So you can see the overall size just resting somewhat in my palm right there. So very large in size. It does have some weight to it as well, and that's given that we've not filled the water tank yet, which does have a 200 milliliter capacity, but nonetheless we're just taking a look at the details right now of its overall design and dimensions. So it does have a 2000 watt power output and a 30 grams per minute steam output. And taking a look at the front, or the sole plate, or the head. And let's remove the protective film from the head. Just setting that aside so you have a much clearer look at its overall details. So I'm just going to move the plug around slightly so you can see, once again, as much detail as possible up close. So just placing my hand over that sole plate so it feels nice and cool to the touch. Just tapping on it as well. You can see the 7 holes for the steam to vent out from. And there, the Tefal Access Steam Force branding, and of course at the back of the head there is an on-off power button and a delicate and turbo buttons for the steam output. So overall plastic construction with that metal sole plate. And some details right there on top of the base or standing base. And it does have 4 round or circular silicone pads which are slip resistant and of course vibration absorbing. It's right there, giving you an overall look as I grip or hold the handheld garment steamer. So it does have a trigger on its neck, as you can see, and just pressing on it to give you some sense of the actuation. And that releases the steam. And there is a trigger lock or continuous steam function as well, or lock. So if we hold down and lock the trigger, that frees our finger up from holding down the trigger. Okay, so right there, steam lock lever, and releasing it. Alright, so overall we can see the black glossy body with some metallic silver accents. And of course there is the water tank and the lever to release it, so we should be able to slide the water tank out. So setting the steamer down and giving you a look at the water tank, which has a 200 milliliter capacity, and its overall design. So a horseshoe shaped base, and at the top you can see it does have a silicone stopper or plug or cap, and of course the neck to fill the tank up with water. So just normal tap water to be used with this steamer. Alright, so now let's go ahead and fill the water tank up with water, and overall, and over here actually, I do have a Pure Design stainless steel insulated water bottle, which I've unboxed on the channel before some while ago. Let's open it up, and there is some water in there. Let's see if we can pour water into the water tank without spilling any water out. Let's try this. So I spilled a little bit, just tried to turn so that you can see me filling the water tank. Okay, you can see the water level through this kind of smoky dark design of the water tank. Right there, the water level somewhat visible, and you can see my hands just waving behind it. And let me just wipe up the spillage. And let's slide the water tank and clipping it into the steamer. Alright, so just going to put the water bottle to the side, and of course plug in the 3-pin plug into the mains power socket. Now flipping that switch on, and you could hear a very soft chime. And now let's go ahead and turn it on by pressing on the power button, and it does have a blue LED to it, which is flashing right now, and the delicate steam mode function on the left is lit up. So I'm just going to set it on the tabletop. As it warms up or heats up. And now it is ready because the LED for the power button has stopped flashing. And let's press on the trigger and see what happens. Okay, so not seeing anything happen. At the moment, but let's turn it off and just check the water tank that everything is fine, which appears to be fine. Let's slide it back in, turn it back on, and you can see it's not flashing, so means it is ready to use. Let's try again, and there we go. Steam output coming out and giving you a sense of the sound or noise level from it as well. And releasing the trigger does of course stop the steam from generating. And of course there is the locking slider or lever as well, so if we hold down on the trigger and slide it to the lock position, so I'm just going to leave it alone so you can see right there the continuous steam function. And giving you a look from a different angle. Now just mindful not to steam the lens up of the camcorder. We're keeping it a little distance away. And you can hear that pumping or knocking sound. So now let's try the turbo button. Let's press on it. And it generates more steam. Let's press on the delicate button now. So quite a large amount of steam output. And pressing and holding on the turbo button gives it an even bigger boost right there, as you can see. A burst of steam that can only be used once every 20 seconds just by pressing and holding on the turbo button. Okay, so right now it is still in the turbo mode, but not in the boosted turbo mode, which I'll try and demonstrate again by pressing and holding for 2 seconds or so. And there we go, one huge gush of steam blast right there. So right now, still on the turbo button, but not of course in the blast mode. Let's go back to the delicate mode. And let's unlock the trigger. And of course, it does have a auto shut off after 8 minutes for safety. And now let's test it out, of course, But once again, giving you a look at the front part and just generally feeling the overall heat. So it's warm or hot to the touch, of course being much hotter towards the front or sole plate. But nonetheless, it is touchable at the various parts of this handheld steamer, and just checking the water level, which is very hard to see, but you can see right there it's dropped all the way down to about there. And of course, with the handheld steamer tilted forward, it's not the best way to look at the water level, but nonetheless giving you some sense of that water tank visibility. Alright, so let's try and steam something. Over here I have a Volcom Stone Blanks Tanktop, which I've unpacked and tried on before on the YouTube channel. So giving you a look at just how creased it is. So it is made out of 100% organic cotton, and you can clearly see the creases on it. Alright, so I'm just going to put it on a hanger so it's easier to handle, and let's try and use the Tefal Access Steam Force DT8270G0 Handheld garment steamer. Okay, so just pressing on the trigger now, and there we go, steam coming out, and let's give it a swipe and see how that goes. Might need several passes, and right now I'm just doing it on one side, or one half. And let's go. Actually, before I do that, just giving you a look right now, not sure how well you can see that difference is. So a slight difference in terms of the uncreasing of the garment. As you can see, lots of creases on that side, softer creases now after giving it a few passes. Let's go with the turbo mode and see what happens. Now pressing on the trigger. Producing even more steam. And now the difference is much more noticeable, with the creases almost completely uncreased on this side compared to the wrinkled side. And let's try it with the turbo blast mode by pressing and holding on the turbo button for a few seconds, and there we go. Just that blast, just one blast of steam really, nothing more. But I'm continuing in the turbo mode. And giving it a few more passes. So right there, giving you a look at this Volcom Stone Blanks Tanktop, with that side steamed and that side left alone. So not sure how well you can see it. But right there, and definitely up close, that's where you can really tell that difference in flatness or smoothness. Okay, so just setting that to the side now, and over here I have a pair of Levi's 501 jeans, which I've unpacked and tried on the channel before. The Levi's 501 original fit jeans, and it does smell extremely musty. Let's see if steaming it does perhaps provide some odor removal. And just to give you a look on the other side as I keep the trigger held to see the amount of steam, if not any, that might be passing through this heavy fabric. Okay, so giving you a look right there, and of course the lens of the camcorder is completely steamed up, so perhaps in a few moments it will clear up, but nonetheless giving you a look overall. And it is dry to the touch, so garment can be worn straight away. It's nice to see that there are no drips or any wetness on the sole plate of the Tefal handheld garment steamer. But nonetheless, let's continue in the turbo mode now that we've got visibility again, and just give the garment some steaming. And the odor seems to have been minimized now that it is thoroughly steamed around this area. So I think further or more thorough steaming will eventually deodorize and of course sterilize this pair of Levi's 501 original fit jeans. And right there giving you a look at the Tefal DT8270G0 handheld garment steamer. So you can see that it is still in the turbo mode setting, but of course without the trigger depressed it's not releasing any steam, but nonetheless giving you a look right now with the locking or continuous steam function right there in the turbo mode, and pressing and holding down for the turbo blast. Okay, and you heard that whoosh there. So it takes about 2 seconds to just press and hold down on that turbo button once every 20 seconds. And let's go into the delicate mode, so tapping on the delicate mode. So nice and steamy, and of course you can hear the level of sound or noise it produces while working. And let's go into the turbo mode, pressing on the turbo mode. back, produces more steam, and pressing and holding on the turbo button does produce that blast. And there we go. So switching back down to the delicate mode, and of course turning off completely by pressing and holding on that power button. So that's the Tefal Access Steam Force DT8270G0 Handheld Garment Steamer. Thanks for watching and happy steaming!